Hello everyone, welcome back to the Syntax UK YouTube channel. My name is Matt and today I'm going to be taking you through a look at the brand new advanced USB audio interface from RME, the Fireface UCX II. Now, as the name suggests, the UCX II is an update on the UCX, which was released all the way back in 2012, but it's still a really popular interface today, and that just goes to show the incredible performance of RME interfaces, as well as their commitment to always updating their rock-solid drivers for the latest operating systems. Now, RME call this an advanced audio interface, and it's clear to see why. It is basically a scaled down version of the UFX, including RME's SteadyClock FS, which we'll get onto a little bit later. Now, the UCX II continues RME's long tradition of creating I/O-filled, feature-packed interfaces in small form factors. And it also features that incredible transparent sound quality and latency that RME has become known for. And like all of RME's interfaces, the UCX II also benefits from Total Mix Effects, which is RME's incredibly powerful and flexible routing software, which allows you to route and mix any input or playback channel to any of the outputs on your interface. Not only that, but RME have built all of this into an interface that can work totally independently of a computer, which makes this the most powerful portable interface that RME have ever released. Let's dive into a look at the front panel. Now, it's had a complete design overhaul, and that's brought it more in line with the UFX range of interfaces. So you've now got a display for monitoring, as well as the 4 buttons and encoder here for working through the menus, and we'll go into the functionality of that a little bit later on. On the front panel, the I/O is unchanged from the original UCX. You've got 2 microphone XLR inputs here, 2 line level or instrument inputs here, and a headphone output for monitoring too. Let's move on to the back panel of the UCX. So we've got 4 more line level inputs here and 6 line level outputs here. And now, something that is new for the UCX II is that all of these line level outputs are DC coupled. And that means that if you're lucky enough to have modular synths amongst your gear list, then this could be the perfect interface for you, allowing you to send CV to your modular gear. If we move a little bit further along, we have MIDI in and out, which is something you don't see very often on interfaces anymore. And then on the digital side, we have ADAT in and out, which is perfect if you need extra mic pre's or some more line level inputs or outputs to your UCX II. Then further along, another thing that is new for the UCX II is this AES, EBU and SP-Diff coaxial in and out via the included breakout cable. And again, another really cool thing about the UCX II is that all of these digital ins and outs can work entirely independently of each other, which gives you more channels to play with. We've also got our USB connection here for connecting to a host computer, but thanks to class compliant mode, you could also use a USB to Lightning cable to connect up to an iOS device like an Apple iPad. And then you could take advantage of the Total Mix for iPad app, which gives you the flexibility and power of Total Mix on a touch device like an iPad. And while we're talking about apps, you can also download the Total Mix remote app, which allows you to wirelessly connect to any Total Mix session when it's connected to the same network. And you can click the pop-up up there to watch our video on how to get started with Total Mix remote as well. And then something else that is new for the UCX II is Durec. Now, if you've seen the UFX range, you'll know what Durec is. But direct USB recording does exactly as the name suggests. It allows you to record any of the inputs or outputs from the UCX II directly to a USB device like a thumb drive or a hard drive. And this makes the UCX II fantastic for people that do things like field recordings or virtual sound checks, or even for musicians just looking for a way of quickly recording jam sessions. And here as well, we have word clock via BNC. Now, there's a single BNC connection here, and this can be changed on the settings on your computer to input or output. But if you want to make the most of SteadyClock FS, then this needs to be selected as an output. That is something that has changed on the inside of the UCX II, as this is now fitted with SteadyClock FS. Now, if you're new to SteadyClock FS or digital clocking and why that is so important, then if you click the pop-up now, you can watch a video by our friends over at RME Germany that explains just that. So we flick over to the front panel again now, we can just run through some of the functionality that you get from the control interface here. So even though it's only got 4 buttons and this pushable encoder, it's really easy to move around all the menus and find the information that you're looking for. So at the top here we have the mic gain button, and this gives you gain control of all of the front panel inputs. So the 2 XLRs and the 2 line level or instrument inputs here too. One of the cool things about that is that you can independently change the gains on each of these, or you can do them in pairs. So if I wanted to do both XLRs, I can just select both of those together and change them really quickly like that. Next up we have the record play button. Now this is the menu where you will find everything that is Durek related. If you're new to Durek, then make sure that you click the pop-up on this video to check out our Getting Started with Direct USB Recording video. And this shows how to get started with Durek using the UFX. Now, something that is new for the UCX II in terms of Durek is the ability to name each individual channel. So that means that when you get your recording into your computer, you'll be able to see what each individual channel actually is before you put it into your DAW, for instance. And that is really handy when working with the 40 channels that you can record using Durek on the UCX II. Next down you have the channel mix menu, and this is where you'll find some really cool features like the compressor, EQ, the low cut and the auto level, and these can be applied to all of the inputs and outputs on the UCX II. And then finally at the bottom you have the setup and reverb button. Now this is where you'll find settings like clocking, but also gives you access to the reverb and echo effects on the UCX II as well. So even with just 4 buttons and a pushable encoder, it is so simple to find all the information that you could require and change any of the major settings on the UCX II. And that means that working in standalone mode without Total Mix Effects or a computer is an absolute breeze. But if you do like working with Total Mix Effects and you do have a particular workspace that you like to use and you want that on your UCX II, then it's really simple to store that workspace from Total Mix on your computer and get it into your UCX II. And it's possible to store and record up to 6 of these workspaces on the UCX II. It's clear to see why RME have labelled the UCX II an advanced USB audio interface. With its extensive I/O and its incredible feature set, it's an unbelievably powerful interface. And that's before you even consider it's in a half rack form factor. So if you want to learn more about the UCX II or any of RME's other interfaces or products, you can go to our website syntax.co.uk. If you've enjoyed this video, please do make sure that you like it and subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with all of our future content. Thanks very much guys, and I will see you again next time.